Hello everyone, good day. Welcome to my educational channel. This is Angel Barnamaran from Cordova Public College. And for today's video, I am going to present to you or answer your most asked questions about the second language acquisition, which is also known as SLA. So I have here 5 questions to answer. So let's start with what is development or history of contrastive and error analysis. So before answering, let us first discuss what is contrastive analysis and as well as the error analysis. So without further ado, let's answer the question. So contrastive analysis or CA is an approach to the study of SLA. So it involves predicting, explaining learner problems based on a comparison of L1 and L2, the native language and the target language. So it is to determine similarities and differences. So for example, when you are learning a target language, which is the English language, and your native language is Tagalog, so there has been a similarities between the two languages that you have. So therefore, this is the study that contrastive analysis is trying to predict. Meanwhile, error analysis or EA is the first approach to the study of SLA or the second language acquisition, which includes an internal focus on learners' creative ability to construct language. So it is based on the description and analysis of actual learners' errors in language 2, rather than on analyzed linguistic structures attributed to native speakers of L1 and L2. So in error analysis, it focuses on looking at the errors of the learners. So when a learner is trying to acquire a new language, it mainly focuses on the errors or kind of like the mistakes of a learner in the process of learning a language. So when you are trying to do the interlanguaging, which we are going to tackle about in the end of this video. So when a person or the learner is trying to do the interlanguaging between the L1 and L2, then that is considered as an error. So without further ado, let us now answer the first question. So the first question we have here is what is the development or history of contrastive and error analysis? So contrastive analysis or CA emerged as a prominent theory in the mid 20th century, influenced by structural linguistics and behaviorist learning theories. So it focused on comparing the structures of learners' native language, the L1, and the target language, the L2, to predict and explain difficulties in L2 acquisition. So scholars such as Charles Fries and Robert Ladue played significant roles in advocating for the systematic comparison of linguistic elements across L1 and L2. So while CA provided valuable insights into potential learning difficulties, it faced criticism for oversimplifying the complexities of language acquisition and neglecting individual learner difficulties. So error analysis, on the other hand, which is also known as EA, gained traction in the late 1960s and early 1970s. As researchers shifted their focus from linguistic comparison to the analysis of learner errors in their L2 production. So scholars like Stephen Pitt Carter and Jack Richards pioneered the study of learner errors. So it aims to understand the nature, the causes, and significance of these. So we have here question number 2. How errors were committed and what is its relation towards second language acquisition? So according to my research, there are 3 main reasons why errors are made. So first, we have the mother tongue interference. Some rules and structures of the first language can interfere with learning the target language, which means that the native language of a learner is trying to interfere with the acquisition of a second language, which is a main reason why a learner is doing an error. So second, we have your overgeneralization. So learners may apply a rule from the target language too broadly, similar to how they would do so in their first language. So the learner may be able to adapt or kind of like follow the rules or the grammar rules of his or her native language, which is a huge factor of an error. So third is the induced error or the faculty teaching method. So this is a result of ineffective teaching methods that fail to accurately reflect the target language. So in this problem or in this main cause, the blame is on the teachers and on the materials being used. Mainly because of the grammar that being taught of the teacher to the learner is lacking in information. So let us now move on to question number 3. So what are the versions of contrastive analysis hypothesis and what are the criticisms? So we have here two versions, which are the strong and weak version. So in the strong version, it posits that all errors made by language learners can be attributed to the interference of their native language, which is the L1. And according to this view, learners transfer directly from their L1 to the target language, which is the L2, right? So resulting in errors whenever the two language differ. So critics argue that this version oversimplifies the complexities of language learning and neglects other factors that contribute to the errors, such as incomplete learning or communication strategies. So in this version, it is like when you translate a specific sentence or phrases from your target language to your native language directly or correctly. So it is considered a strong version when you are successfully translating the sentence. While in weak version, it suggests that only those aspects of the target language that differ from the learner's native language are likely to cause errors. So critics argue that even this version of CAH, which is the contrastive analysis hypothesis, fails to account for the full range of factors that contribute to errors, such as incomplete acquisition of L2 learners or processing limitations. So in this version, it is when you translate a specific sentence or phrases to your native language or vice versa unsuccessfully. So there is a kind of like errors or kind of like grammatically incorrect translation. So for example, when your native language does not really require gender, grammatical gender. So when we try to translate it to English, which has a different gender rules, so it has kind of like conflict. It's gonna have conflict between languages when you try to translate it. We're just trying to introduce the weak version of contrastive analysis. So let's now move on to the fourth question. So what are the differences of contrastive and error analysis in relation to second language acquisition? So contrastive analysis, which is also known as CA, and error analysis, which is also known as EA, are the two distinct methodologies within the realm of second language acquisition, which is also known as SLA. So each offering unique insights into the language learning process. So contrastive analysis primarily focus on comparing the linguistic structures of learners' native language, L1, and the learner's target language, which is the L2. So it predicts areas of difficulty in L2 acquisition. So by identifying similarities and differences between L1 and L2, contrastive analysis aims to anticipate potential challenges learners may face. So as I've said earlier, in contrastive analysis, it mainly focuses on the similarities and differences of the learner's native language and the learner's target language, which is the L2, right? So on the other hand, error analysis delves into analyzing errors made by language learners in their L2 production, seeking to understand the nature, the causes, and significance of these errors. So EA provides valuable insights into learners' actual language. So shedding light into their linguistic development and effectiveness of language teaching approaches. So as I've said earlier, error analysis mainly focuses on the progress or the process of the learners. So while CA emphasizes structural comparisons between L1 and L2 to inform language teaching materials and methodologies, EA focuses specifically on learner errors and their impact and their implications for language learning. So in essence, CA aims to protect difficulties. CA aims to predict difficulties and L2 acquisitions based on linguistic contrast. So based on the differences of the native and the second language of a learner. while EA seeks to understand learners' language learning processes through the analysis of errors. So we are now at the last question, which is explain interlanguage theory. So what is interlanguage theory? So from the term itself, interlanguage, it means interference of languages. So what is interlanguage theory? So interlanguage is an important aspect in the study of second language acquisition. So it also refers to the systematic knowledge of language, which is independent of both the learner's native language and target language. So as I've said earlier, interlanguage theory, it is kind of like interfering, right? Both languages, the native and the target language, the L1 and the L2 of learners. So the learners is trying to speak both languages at the same time. So that is to say, it is neither the system of the native language nor that of the target language. So the concept of interlanguages might be better understood if it is regarded as a continuum between the native language and second language. So it is when the learner is trying to adapt the differences and similarities of his or her native language and target language. So it is a developing change. So this is when we see the Creole or the so this is when we see the Creole in which two languages are being used at the same time. So that is it, you guys. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more educational videos and don't forget to like this video and share it to your friends or families. Thank you. Bye bye.